Hello there. I've been traveling for a little bit, but while I've been traveling, I decided that I would try to learn game development because I have been having some free time in my apartment while we're in Italy right now. So I had some free time in my apartment and I started trying to learn Godot 2 weeks ago. So this is how much I've done in 2 weeks. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I did, well, I opened it up and I was like, what the hell is this? How do I use this? And I guess for context, I have a little bit of experience with game development. I made like a few games in Scratch a while ago, like 2 years ago. And then I took a semester-long coding class just a little while ago. And I made like a basic game. So that kind of introduced it to me and actually helped me with fundamentals more than I think I realized at the time. Anyway, so I started with Brackey's tutorial for making a game, just making a basic platformer. And that was really nice. I felt like that introduced me to a lot of the, like just how things work in Godot. And then I decided, I'll try and replicate that. Try to make a 2D platformer. And I just couldn't remember a lot of the things that happened in the tutorial. So I think that's what happens when people say they get into tutorial hell, is they use the tutorial to do something, and then they realize that they actually can't do that without the tutorial. They didn't actually pay attention enough. They just followed the tutorial. So I decided to take notes on some of the tutorials from now on. I know, why would I be doing that? It's not school anymore. It's summer for me. But I thought, I don't know, it'd be a good way to remember everything. So the first long tutorial I looked at was a tutorial on like all the different nodes, like the 200 something nodes in Godot. And I took notes on that, some very long notes. And then I looked at Brackey's GDScript tutorial, and that's another hour, and I also took notes on that. Those three videos, the Brackey's first tutorial, Brackey's GDScript tutorial, and Luccy's node tutorial, are all in the description if you want to look at it. So after I did that, I feel like I understood things a little bit more. So I decided that to try and cement some of this knowledge in my brain, that I would make some kind of 2D platformer with my own art and stuff, just so I know how to, import things, how to make objects, how to make just all the stuff that goes into a basic 2D game. So I started out by making this little character right here, and had it make an animation. And by the way, I'm sorry, I didn't record any of this stuff because my Mac has not that much RAM, or I guess my mom's Mac doesn't have much RAM, so I figured I think it would have slowed things down a lot if I tried to record it. Anyway, so I first made this little character, and then I'm in Italy right now, so I figured might as well make something Italian related. So I made an Italian tile set for what I thought maybe the background could be. And so my idea was I can make a 2D platformer, except for you have to place blocks. So you have to place blocks to get across. That's why I called it. So I called it Bridge Builder. I don't know if it's the most original name ever, but you would just have to place blocks to get to the end goal. So first I made the map. So this is what the map looks like. And then I really like the idea of like having it be at night and having like lights. With this game, I wanted to dabble in most of the aspects of 2D games. So I decided I would try and make lights. So I made the lamps have lights, and then it'd be at night. So that's how with a canvas, like, what is it called? Canvas modulate node. Then I made it like bluish, because that's what happens at night. Things get kind of bluish. And then I added lights that make the, I guess, lights in Godot just make the canvas, effects of the canvas node not happen in the light areas, I guess, kind of. Some of you already know how to do Godot, so this is just stuff you already know. Anyway, and then I also made a parallaxing night sky background. I still am kind of confused on like how the implementation of that works, but I implemented it and it worked, so. And then, let's see, I implemented the block place mechanic, which didn't take too long. That was pretty easy. And then finally, I thought particle effects would be really cool. So I made, at the end, there's like a little hovering, not hovering, like holographic kind of white area, this thing. So I thought I'd make particle effects for that. So I did. I had to look up a tutorial and like general, and all going through this, most of it is just stuff from my brain, but like a lot of it is like I looked up tutorials for things, and then what I tried to do is I like would look at the tutorial, then like wait 5 minutes and then try to do it myself, because then that's like what I really learned from the tutorial, not what if I'm just copying. So that's what I did. And then let's see, yeah, so I did these particle effects, and then I decided to make a main menu. So this is the main menu I made. And a lot of this, I was also implementing some scripts. So for example, on these like little buttons, the ocular, what is it called? Ocular light 2D? I think that's what it's called. Basically, it blocks light. But when you're hovering over the button, the ocular light node disappears when you're hovering over it, and I did do it with script. And then I also did some other things with script, like for example this 3-2-1 little mechanic that happens at the start. I implemented a script. A few other things. I found that like I really need to focus on my next games. I need to focus more on organizations because it was a little bit of a mess. And then I think that's it. I may have not mentioned a few things, but yeah, so that's all I did in the 2 weeks. I guess that's kind of a lot. I'm kind of proud of that. And I do have a plan for I have like an end goal. I have a goal of making a 3D game, a 3D horror game. I already have the idea. I think it might be called, what's it called? Excursion. But that might be far in the future. I still want to learn mechanics, and it's 3D, so I feel like I'd have to learn 3D. But I do have another game idea that is 2D that I think I might start working on soon. I will probably post updates. So, yeah. But I think that's all for now. I think I'm going to export it, so if you want to play it for some reason, even though it's like kind of weird. I'm also like terrible at it, which is funny, but I think it has to do with me having a touchpad. Anyway, is that all I wanted to say? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going to try and export it just so I know how, and I guess if you want to play it, then maybe I'll put a link in the comments or something. But yeah, that's all from me. Bye.